Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. A lot happening in and around India, especially in the states of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Manipur, and a bunch of other things. We are going to talk to Sriram Seshadri on what is the latest on Karnataka, especially on that 5,000 rupee prepaid debit card. Now that Kumaraswamy has jumped into the ring, we'll get to hear a lot about on the situation ground also. On the ground situation also. Sorry for my jumbling up words. Sriramji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, Sri Iyer. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Karnataka. Now looks like Siddaramaiah, thanks to our push and maybe some other people also pushing, he's saying he intends to implement every line in letter and spirit of the guarantee card, the 80-90,000 crores.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, there has been a lot of impact created by various YouTube channels and media activists and people like us who talked about the cheating that Congress wanted to do, at least in Karnataka. In Himachal, still they have cheated the people. The 6-8 months over, none of the poll promises had been kept up. And then now Siddaramaiah. Actually, there has been a bit of news that I learned in the last 1 week. Two information that I learned what forced Siddaramaiah and 𝗤𝙬𝘀𝘀 to abide by this. Number one, going back during the campaign trails, it was Priyanka Gandhi who announced these 5 guarantees without the knowledge of neither 𝗤𝙬𝘀𝘀 or without consulting 𝗤𝙬𝘀𝘀 and Siddaramaiah. This is actually, I came to know through one of the Delhi journalists that this is how it happened. And Siddaramaiah had held 9 years of finance portfolio when he was the chief minister as well as before in Karnataka, knows exactly what is the financial situation. He was shocked. And when swearing in ceremony happened, Rahul Gandhi preempted that all the 5 guarantees will be decided and announced in the first cabinet meeting. Once again, that time Siddaramaiah announced, in principle, we will implement all these 5 guarantees. And then, official orders started coming in for the 200 units, and then women, a monthly payment to the women head of the family, and then about unemployment benefits. 10 kgs of rice, I think that was the one, that BPL family, which is a very nice one, I support that. And so on and so forth, all the, and women bus passes. So we exposed that, the women bus passes, people, initially it was only for Kannadigas, and then today Siddaramaiah announced that normal route buses, other than luxury AC buses, all the route buses, women bus passes would be given from June 11th or some, I think from the first or second week of June. Once again, what will happen is in Karnataka already the route buses, normal buses are very less, and then they will reduce that frequency also. Probably they will follow Tamil Nadu model. They will paint pink, and then that bus once in a day that service would be run. So they will minimize that cost. The second, 2,000 rupees to women head of the family is going to be implemented from August, and then from July onwards, June onwards, they are going to start the enrollment process. We need to wait and watch how this will be implemented, who all will be the eligibility. Those details are not yet out. Unemployment benefits, I think they announced those who are passing out this year only, no changes. I think, in the poll promise, it was for every unemployment graduates and no qualification of 2 years, and then they have done the 2 years qualification. Fair enough, at least 2 years is a good enough, but at least, they should give, we need to see what are the small letters in the guidelines and all, so we need to see who all get benefited. 200 units. Even now, the clarity is not there. Siddaramaiah talks about 2.93 lakh, 2 crore 19 lakh households will get benefited. And then out of that, 1.2 crore is about a BPL below poverty line. And he was saying that average consumption of this below poverty line was only 60 units per month. I'm really, really surprised. 60 units means you need to have only 2 bulbs. So even now, I stand by what we talked last week, Sri Iyer, that the conditions are still going to be that 15 odd conditions. in some way or the other that is going to be implemented. But one thing that he talked about is 50,000 crore outlay from the budget would be set aside for fulfilling these 5 guarantees. I do, unless and otherwise they give it in as per the promises made. I don't think this 50,000 crores is going to be needed. Only 800 to 1,000 crores is needed if those conditions that we exposed last week are still maintained in some form or the other. But good thing is, at least Congress is forced to, without BJP or the opposition parties taking it in a big way, they are forced now by the Karnataka people to actually fulfill this. So this is a lesson they will learn if they want to give any freebies in other states like Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh. Rajasthan already, Gehlot announced now itself 100 units free. Madhya Pradesh, if they come to power, they said that they'll give free electricity, women, grants and etc. So they will be much more careful, in my opinion, to make all these freebie announcements to win the elections. But that 5,000 rupees cash card, I think that is going to become a huge issue, Sri Iyer. I think, very few channels talked about it. Very few people talked about it. One was ours, where we talked last week about, one person giving an interview about this. And then Kumaraswamy picked it up. Now Kumaraswamy laid out each region. He laid out those cards and then said how this is going to be, this was promised and how they have cheated. It is for cash for vote scam. I think now Supreme Court has to intervene in this case because the Election Commission doesn't have any more jurisdiction after the election results are announced. Only Lokayukta or other maybe ED's case. This could be an ED's case to check how this money laundering happened, how this money was paid. It definitely is a criminal case. Those who had promised, only thing is evidences will be very scarce. People have to come out and then openly talk about that they received it. But we need to see how this unfolds. But reality is that 5,000 rupees cash for vote scam has happened. 3,000 to 5,000. It's not just 5,000 flat. 3,000 to 5,000 rupees cash for vote scam has really happened, and that too in a very novel, innovative way of preloaded cards. It's not a credit card; it's a plastic card with a QR code that you go into a certain shop and then you just scan it and then you could use that QR code for payment. And people have been taken for granted, and I think people will start agitating on that slowly. At least opposition parties, Kumaraswamy has picked it up because he was the most impacted person on this cash card, because the most of the cash card distribution happened where JDS would have ideally won, and about 10 to 15 seats they actually coughed up. Those are the areas where in Mandya and my old Mysore region, those are the areas where this promise was made, and then Kumaraswamy has lost those elections. So Kumaraswamy is now, hurt very badly because of this gimmicks by Congress. So we need to see how this unfolds. But in net, that 50,000 crores, how Karnataka government is going to earn this revenue, that's where the crux here we need to watch out. They will raise petrol, diesel. Already, compared to Tamil Nadu, the diesel is about 9 rupees lesser in Karnataka, price-wise. So they will try to match it with Tamil Nadu, or at least if not half of that, they'll raise it by 4 or 5 rupees. Congress did that in Himachal Pradesh. They raised the petrol and diesel price by 3 and 4 rupees respectively after they came to power to manage some of their expenses. The second is already property guideline values are getting increased, and so they will get the property values and registration charges will go up. The third is the industrial power tariff have already been increased. Many industries, some of the industry forums have appealed to the government, stating that they may have to close down if this is not revised. So which means the industrial connections are power is going to be costlier, and the cost of production is going to increase. So that is going to impact Karnataka economy in a big way. So in net, if you look at it, at least these promises are going to be implemented from day one, unlike DMK government, where they have just not they just only in paper it is all implemented, or 2.5 years into the government, they're going to fulfill one of the crucial poll promise of 1,000 rupees to women that they promised. At least Karnataka government is intending to do it in the first 100 days. But where they are going to get a revenue for this is going to be a big question mark, which means every public who is using the transportation, because in Karnataka, especially Bangalore, Mysore and other areas, the private vehicles are the highest, and they are going to bear the brunt for funding this poll promises. Property is a huge issue. Already rental values have increased after this government came in, so property prices are going to shoot out because of the guideline values going up, and then registration charges are going to go up, which means properties are going to be dearer. The third is industrial economy is going to be badly impacted. So we need to wait and watch how this the finance portfolio is going to look into all these issues. At this point in time, it is still not fully implemented. We need to still see what are all the small letters in this implementation.
Thank you so much, Sriramji. And viewers, please like this video. And also, if you have not subscribed to our channel, kindly do so immediately. About 1 in 2 viewers are not yet subscribers to our channel. Here is a request to all of you to subscribe to our channel so that you get notifications as and when our videos come out. We are always crisp, to the point. We don't waste your time. We try to do our best in terms of giving you content that is fresh. In fact, like Sriramji said, we were among the first ones to put out this cash debit card, preloaded debit card scam that Congress started out. So this is why you want to watch PGurus, because we are out there first. Thank you so much again. So Sriramji, Rahul Gandhi's visit to United States. I have a theory, sir, and please tell me if I'm doing this right or wrong. This guy is starting to put religion over region. Almost half of the people who are showing up for his events don't even belong to India.
Yeah.
But they happen to belong to one religion.
Right.
And he thinks by showing that consolidation, solidarity, that suddenly he can use religion as a card to unite or get the entire minority vote to him and take the oxygen out of other opposition parties such as Samajwadi Party, Trinamool Congress, or DMK even, or even CPM. All these people who are saying that, well, we have the Muslim bank with us. Now there is a serious challenge that I think Rahul Gandhi is thinking is mounting. How real is this?
See, we need to look at one thing what Congress had been in the past, and then how the demographies changed for Congress. I'll take Uttar Pradesh as an example. In Uttar Pradesh, Congress used to get 100% votes of the Dalits and Muslims. That is what their vote bank had been. When Sriram came to politics, serious politics, the Dalit votes, Congress lost the Dalit votes. Of course, Congress used to get Thakurs, Muslims and Dalits. Sriram took away the Dalits vote. Then Mulayam Singh Yadav separated and then started his own Samajwadi Party, and then he became big. He took away the Thakur votes and the Muslim votes. Of course, BJP then started growing in Uttar Pradesh. Kalyan Singh became the prominent leader. He took away the Brahmins and the Thakur's vote. So what was left out for Congress was some portions of Dalits, some portions of Muslims, some portions of the OBCs. That is why in a largest state of Uttar Pradesh, where Congress first family had always contested, starting from Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka, everybody, Rahul Gandhi contest from Raebareli and Amethi, vice versa. One of them had been contesting from there. And Rahul Gandhi had to run away from Amethi to Wayanad for his survival, political survival. And now he lost that also because of his loose cannon mouth. He lost that seat also. But look at the way the smaller part or regional parties have come on board and then took away the vote of the Muslim votes which used to bring them to power. Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, erstwhile Andhra Pradesh, and now in Telangana, OIC became such a large Muslim, vote catcher. Congress lost out there. Take every region. Karnataka is the only place where Muslim voters are still with Congress. Otherwise, you look at Maharashtra, it has gone to NCP. You look at wherever there is a BJP versus Congress direct fight like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, there they still retain the Muslim votes. In Punjab and Delhi, AAP took away this. In West Bengal, totally Mamata Banerjee TMC wiped out the Muslim base of Congress. Congress doesn't even win a seat there. That's the reality. In the last assembly election, Congress did not even win a seat. Only in the by-election that happened a few weeks or a month or so back, Congress tried to won one seat in West Bengal, where it used to be the dominant force. That's a reality that is sinking into Congress. So they want to regain all these vote bank. It's going to be a very Herculean task. But what happens? What surprises me, I always see that Rahul Gandhi is a big entertainer, and he never disappoints you when he opens his mouth to entertain you. He says Muslim League is a secular party. Okay, technically, probably if you go and ask him, if you have to register a political party in India, under Election Commission, you need to declare that you are a secular party. You cannot say that this is only specific for one particular religion or caste. It has to be registered as a secular party. Imagine, Muslim League is a secular party. I want to see at least one non-Muslim in Muslim League as a member. Forget about in position or in power or in party position. That is his level of desperation. But I want to draw your attention and viewers' attention of Rahul Gandhi's idea of ridiculing the country when he visits abroad. I think this is a disturbing factor, one we need to look at. One is he looks at religion much more than the region. But the second is most disturbing factor that I look at it is when he goes abroad and then ridicules the prime minister, ridicules the nation, ridicules whatever happens in India. He doesn't do it in India. He just does it only when he travels abroad. No other leaders of India has ever done this. Okay, be it Indira Gandhi, be it Vajpayee, be it even Rajiv Gandhi has not done this before. I want to give 3 examples. Number one, he I think went and talked about God versus Modi in California, if I'm not wrong. He talked about where he said if God and Modi were to sit next to each other, Modi will be instructing or guiding God about how the universe should be handled. I think that's sort of a very cheap jibe. And thanks for putting up this tweet, Shriya. Journalist Raghuvanshi, a reporter, someone in the US reporter asked how the press freedom in India, especially this guy talks about how close this guy was with Raghuvanshi, and then this guy had been arrested, and Rahul Gandhi just takes that opportunity and then says, oh, press freedom is in danger in India, least realizing why Raghuvanshi was arrested. He had sold military secrets, defense secrets to foreign agencies along with his conspirators. He had been arrested for this, and he doesn't even know that. Just for getting some amount of mileage, this guy says under Modi the press freedom is freedom of expression is in danger. How irresponsible a leader can be, especially in a foreign soil. When you go and talk about it, it's so irresponsible. What hurts him the most is what Modi or what the law of the land did to him. See, nobody, it's an entitlement mentality. Nobody from the Gandhi family, even in their dream, would have thought that someone will take away their power. He lost the MP seat. In California, when he went and talked about, he said that he feels very bad and then depressed that he has been disqualified to be an MP in India. Did not say why. It was because in 2019 he just blabbered that all Modi with the surname Modi are thieves, right? And a case was filed. He didn't want to apologize. He's good at doing the apology. I think 6 or 7 times he has done. He also made that comment in when he was speaking about, I am probably one of the only politician has apologized most in the court. That also he made. He just self-ridiculed himself. But this guy lost his MP post because of making a derogatory remark, and then the court of law has held that he is disqualified. He is having a fear that unless the higher court, either the Gujarat High Court or the Supreme Court, sets aside this sentence, not stay. Stay is only for him going to prison and then being imprisoned. He may get a bail, but unless they stay or they set aside this conviction and the sentence, he will not be able to contest 2024 election. It's just another 8 or 9 months down the line. He will not be able to contest that election. That frustrates him, and he goes all over the world ridiculing the nation. See, politics is different. You can talk about politics, you can talk about this, but ridiculing a nation, ridiculing the prime minister, how much ever you may hate him, but ridiculing the prime minister as a post, I think that is a most irresponsible statement. A leader cannot make it. I think Rahul Gandhi repeatedly doing this, and that's more dangerous than he picking a religion against a region. You are mute.
Thank you, Sriram. I think either tonight or tomorrow, Doordarshan will be carrying an interview with me on this particular topic about who are all the people who are behind Rahul Gandhi's trip to United States and who is financing it and what kind of organizations are pushing his meetings and saying that we are going to provide free buses from all the masjids. See, this is a plural society. Somebody goes to masjid because he's a Muslim. That doesn't guarantee immediately that these are all Indian American Muslims. On the contrary, Sriram, Indian American Muslims are quite well off. They are just like you and I, regular people, have regular jobs, software, being in the profession of teaching and so on. So they really are not the ones who are actually being wooed. What these people are showing is trying to show bodies and trying to influence the bigger religious institutions in India, saying that, oh, look, all these people are behind you, therefore you should also start creating trouble. You're seeing what is happening in Manipur, to which we will be alluding to in just a short while. And these kinds of things are essentially nothing but trying to catalyze people into thinking that somehow they are under risk. In fact, if anything, more and more killings of love jihad nature are coming out. Very gruesome. Very gruesome. You saw one live video where a 16-year-old girl was hacked to death. And the thing that's amazing is how can people just walk by as if nothing is happening? In fact, I'm also reminded, Sriram, of a girl called Swati, who was an Infosys engineer, who bled to death on a electric train railway station.
Yeah, that was a few years. Yeah, that was few years back in. Few years back in Chennai, Nungambakam.
Yes.
Similar thing happened, but unfortunately, the guy who was arrested may or may not have been the culprit. But that guy, committed. He probably touched electric wire inside the prison and then committed suicide. Is the way the case was closed. But reality probably was totally different than what meets the eye in that particular case here. Yes. And another thing, we should also talk about, in one of the meetings in the US where Rahul Gandhi's attendees, when the national anthem was played, they were all just sitting. I think if a crowd is not going to be an Indian diaspora, then the national anthem should not be played. That's a responsibility of the leader who's addressing, the organizers who are addressing. Otherwise, at least request people to stand up. But you're right, if people are from different masjids and others are brought in, they don't have to have the same nationalistic attachment to the Indian national anthem, leave alone rest of the other countries national anthem. I think that's where the organizers are blundering. You are exactly right. They just want to get the crowd. They want to say that people are unsafe and all those stuff. I think this is where the Congress and Sam Pitroda and others who are doing the organizing of these are much more dangerous, and they are really, really afraid in 2024 Modi will come back to power and then they will be wiped out once and for all, because 15 plus years not in power and several cases looming on them, really, really afraid of what will happen to them. I think that desperation is pushing them towards all these.
Thank you so much, Sriram. I'm going to just allude to Manipur now. Still, unrest is prevailing. There are still villages being burnt down, and action is being taken. What exactly is the reason? People say that this is just routine ethnic conflict. I kind of don't believe that, because suddenly you cannot have these high intensity weaponry in one hand, on one tribal's hand. Where did it come from? Who supplied them? Who are the people instigating all this? All these things need to be questioned. So right now, Manipur is in an uneasy state of calm, and I've been in touch with many people who are giving me regular updates. The challenge is, many of us in India, I mean, we need to understand that India is not just, some small set of states. It's all of India. And Manipur Hindus are Vaishnavites.
Yeah.
Sriramji, they are your kind, sir. I'm not saying that Vaishnava is my God too. I mean, we all believe in polymorphism. That's not the thing. What I'm trying to say is, how many of us know this? How many of us know that Meitei sect is a Vaishnava worshipping sect? Also remember, viewers, Manipur is the lone state in the northeast which has a semblance of a Hindu majority, a semblance that is going away. Now, under 355, now the state's home department is under the control of the Ministry of Home Affairs under Amit Shah. Sriram, he went there and came back. Any update on what you think has happened after that?
See, one thing on the visit of Amit Shah, there is some amount of returning. I wouldn't say returning to normalcy. At least the riots and all these ethnic fight has stopped. Several people surrendered voluntarily to say that they will not indulge further on flaming this agitation, flaming this conflict. So that is a first step towards returning to normalcy. But this has been there for several years, at least more than a decade or so. The fundamental reason why this problem arises is only twofold. Like you specifically said, Meitei is a community that lives in 1/4 or 1/3 or 40% of the landmass in Manipur. And Kuki, which is another tribe, they are designated as a
we seem to have momentarily. Go ahead.
So, sorry, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So, Kuki is another set of scheduled tribe, which is again having 1/3 of a population or so, or living in a landmass. Meitei has been fighting to become a scheduled tribe, and then Manipur High Court gave a guidance for the government to take this forward and then consider recognizing Meitei as a scheduled tribe. That's where the fundamental reason for the conflict started. For example, the Kukis actually started burning churches, started burning. In fact, most of the Kukis are also Christians. It's not that they are Hindus. They are Christians. They burned the churches to create the restlessness. And on May 3rd or 4th, if I'm not wrong, when this serious conflict started, their biggest story is Meitei becomes a scheduled tribe. Then they will be eligible to buy the land and trade the land and then contest elections from the reserved locations. That's their fundamental problem or fundamental reason why they want to fight. Remember, the Nagas, the Naxal, the terrorist groups under Nagas, which in the Nagaland, successfully. R.N. Ravi, when he was a governor, negotiated a settlement, and they laid down their arms. They still remain as terrorists in Manipur, the Naga fighters. I think most of the the infight is flamed by these Nagas who are there, because who get the arms from across the border from Burma and in Bangladesh. They get their support and arms to fight the country. I think that is where the conflict gets blown up further, Shreya. Currently, just a small lull in the conflict, the ethnic conflict that is happening. But the fight between Cookies and Métis are probably, it has to be resolved through dialogues, cannot be resolved through violence. I think 80 people from each side had laid their life in this particular conflict. A lot of them have been driven into forests, and then they've escaped to neighboring states to survive. And then, of course, people do have their own firearms, because they are all tribes living in forests. So for their own protection, they are allowed to have rifles. So most of them are using it, but the modern weaponry are coming through the Nagas terrorist group. I think that is the biggest disturbance, and that's why Amit Shah spent almost 4 days in the state. He has never, as a home minister, went to a state for 4 continuous days to monitor and then resolve an issue. A slight improvement that several people laid down their arms and then voluntarily surrendered. I think more than 150 people have surrendered from both the sides, and we need to watch. And then the new DGP had come into power, and then who is much more good in managing these situations. So a lot of promises had been taken. Judicial inquiry had been ordered, that, and of course the conflict would be resolved between two communities, so that they want to just push this particular issue of scheduled tribe recognition for Métis for the time being. But that definitely is going to be simmering, burning in the particular region. You are right in that out of the 7 sisters, I think this is the only one sister where the Hindu population is majority. Rest of the places, Hindus are minority in the northeastern states. And restlessness here, because it's also bordering, closer to the border, Myanmar border. So rest of this, issues, unless it is resolved in 2024 run up to election, probably they are not going to impact much on the election outcomes, because number of seats in northeastern states are very limited. But this may flare up to be highlighted as a discomfort for BJP in other parts of the state, other parts of the country. And that is why a resolution for this is a must, especially on the armed conflict resolution is a must. At this point in time, the ground report says that there is some amount of semblance returning, but we need to wait and watch whether this will continue, and then they will return to dialogue mode. I think that's an update on Manipur, Shreya.
Thank you so much. And now that Tamil Nadu CM is back, and Senthil Balaji probably is now again pegged back to his old role, a lot of his benamis have been raided. Where's the latest status? I heard that all the 4 officers who went into ICU have been released. They are okay. Some have had some internal injuries. And the IRS officer who was heading the raid, Sivashankaran, he said that we are going to fix these guys. Give us a little bit more update on where things stand. But this kind of open hooliganism, this is very dangerous, Sriram.
This is the first ever incident, I must say, first ever incident that an IT raid, the IT officials were hooliganized, harassed, beaten, and armed. Right? I think it has never happened in the country, in my opinion. Even in Bihar, when Lalu Prasad Yadav was raided, these didn't happen, because Bihar, we used to talk about Bihar as a jungle Raj, right? Yes. So even in such a name that Bihar had, even there it has not happened. But in Tamil Nadu, I think only one movie where similar raids where the people were cornered and then they all tried to escape out of that raid. There's one Hindi movie that came. I don't remember the name of it, but I think other than that, you would not have seen people getting, people were beaten by hooligans. In this case, though income tax department has filed 4 different complaints, and the individual, the lady who had a fracture in her hand, also filed an independent complaint. Police initially refused to include harassment of women in the charge sheet, in the sections of it. And then subsequently, Karur Sessions Court had to intervene and then asked the police to include that. I think that's a level of influence probably Senthil Balaji had on the police, and instigated this violence against the income tax official. As we speak, I think 6th day, the raids are being conducted. Several establishments had been sealed because some of them had escaped, not been present, not been able to, not traceable. So they have sealed those establishments. Auditor of some of these establishments had been tracked, and then they have found several incriminating documents of income suppression. So all these things have happened. But what actually ridicules me are some of the statements made by the DMK leaders. Imagine, there have been several raids on various ministers, even on 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪 and Udayinidhi Foundation. DMK never, and on MLA, sitting MLA of Annanagar, DMK MLA, the raid happened a month or so back along with 𝙤𝙬𝙬 raid. DMK never reacted so vehemently. The leaders never reacted. Senthil Balaji's associates, the raid was not on Senthil Balaji's house. At least then people, we can understand DMK party machinery is reacting to it. But Senthil Balaji's associates, non-party members, his brother, when the raid is happening, several of the DMK leaders are reacting. The Karur superintendent issues a statement saying that they have not been told in prior where they are going to go for a raid. It's a laughable statement, because income tax officers themselves don't know until they get into the vehicle that whom they are going to raid. It will always be kept secret. Even though 6 months to 9 months investigation would have been done, there is income tax vigilance is there already. They'll do all the investigation and then pass on this information to appropriate authorities. But police is never ever informed where they are going to go. Police would be informed just a previous day that they need protection for the raid. That's all. Who they are going to raid, nobody will know. Of course, people can make a guess. If Karur, someone is going to be raided, it is definitely going to be Senthil Balaji or his associates or his family. Other than that, nobody is going to be raided in Karur, unless there are multiple business entities happen. What is happening here is the power that they want to show that they can take on the income tax official who are going on their duty. See, the crowd mob comes up and then says, show me your ID card, show me the search warrant. They don't have to show that. They are only they can only show that to the house in which, or the establishment they are going to raid, not to all the Tom, Dick and Harry who walks in the street can demand saying that show me your ID card. I think that is the level of atrocity that has happened. And another person, I think R.S. Bharati made this comment. The income tax raided when the CM was out of country. What ridiculous statement can this be? Should the CM be present for an income tax to do a raid on its own minister or in the state? I think that's pretty ridiculous statement. These people, they don't know how to react to the situation. But one thing is clear, Shriya here, that like police, the income tax department never ever forgives if their people are mishandled. They'll never ever forgive. They will always keep that in the back of their mind. Even tomorrow, some point in time, the government, central government, DMK has some soft corner from the central government. Even the ministers, even finance minister wants to interfere and then stop any of these proceedings. Income tax will not listen to it unless you are given in writing saying that stop this proceeding. They will not listen to it. There will be some amount of, not just on Senthil Balaji alone, they will have their eye on every DMK people who are associated with DMK. I think that's the biggest ever blunder done by Senthil Balaji and his associates, countering or trying to, hurt the income tax officials. I think this is unheard of anywhere. And several incriminating documents have been received. That's what the sources say. The sources also say that, Ashok, who is a brother of Senthil Balaji, had been called for interrogation. He didn't appear but asked for some time. There are several other places documents have been revealed that Ashok's mother-in-law property in the name of his mother-in-law, who never had any source of income, and all those have unearthed. The next stage, income tax will end up only penalizing and then charging tax, but the details will definitely go to ED. ED will then take this information and then further investigate on where the money came from, the money laundering aspects of it. So very tough time for Senthil Balaji. I think some point in time, the protection from the first family may be withdrawn for him. I don't know when. I think that the time is of the essence here. At some point in time, the first family will stop protecting Senthil Balaji. I think that's when we'll see a lot of political turmoil in the state, because Senthil Balaji still controls significant amount of followers within the DMK. Even though he's probably one of the junior most by the number of years in DMK, he joined only few years back. I think in 2019 or so, 18-19 only he joined DMK, so not more than 5 years. But he seems to have a lot more control and clout in the party than a long-standing members. I think that's a ground reality for DMK. We need to wait and watch how the first family is going to react, because if they continue to protect, they are going to be in trouble, sooner or later.
Sriram, just let's spend 1 minute on the antecedents of Senthil Balaji. He used to be close to Sasikala's family, isn't he, before he jumped ship and went to DMK?
So he is called 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙦𝙤𝙤. That is, he has jumped 5 parties before landing in DMK. Yeah, he was much more closer to Sasikala. In fact, Sasikala brought him back into ministry. When he was a transport minister, Jayalalitha dropped him from the cabinet. Then, with the help of Sasikala, he came back to power. Then, when after Jayalalitha's demise, when Edappadi took the party, TTV Dinagaran was split ADMK, and then along with him 17 MLAs went. Senthil Balaji went along with him. From there, he jumped ship and then went to DMK. So he has been there in 5 different parties before going to DMK.
Interesting. And he's also embroiled in this other case, which the Supreme Court has said should proceed ahead, regarding taking bribes for appointments, and then claiming that now that they are returned, there is no case. No, it is already, once you take bribe, you have taken the bribe. So this is also going to be interesting. I think I see that as an easier way for him to be jailed. You never know where people will be caught with their hand in the cookie jar, but I think that is an even more black and white case. How many brothers does he have?
I think he has 2 brothers, if I'm not wrong. I think one, Ashok, is the most prominent one. That is, he is the one who does all the, so I think Ashok is the only brother, if I'm not wrong. Even this
no. There is one more brother. I think he has an elder brother.
He has an elder brother. Yeah, that's he is not very prominent or popular or notoriously known. So Ashok is the only person who acts as his agent. Even in this transport employment scam, the appointment orders went from Ashok's personal email ID to the transport department to be distributed. I think that is where the track of all these cases was tracked, and then there was a digital evidences that was collected, and that's where the case is open and shut case. Okay, of course, Senthil Balaji will be cursing the lawyer who gave him the suggestion to file an affidavit saying that the money, we have returned the money that we took as a bribe. I think he definitely will be cursing that particular lawyer. That lawyer probably had much more grudge on him than anybody else, in my opinion, giving such a suggestion. So Ashok is a front for even now we are talking about the Karur gang, which is nothing but collecting all the bribes from the TASMAC, what they collect 10 rupees over every bottle, 50 to 60,000 rupees from each TASMAC outlet. There are about 5,000 TASMAC outlets. So imagine the number of crores that is being collected every month. I think Ashok is a person who actually manages that. And at the end of the day, there's a significant amount of share being given to the first family. That's why the first family probably is still tolerating. But I think noose is becoming tighter and tighter day by day, because he has become very, very unpopular, not amongst opposition parties, Shriyar, within DMK. Most of the seniors, long timers, who actually feel that they are left out. If you look at 2021 DMK's cabinet, there are 8 ministers who holds prominent portfolios. None of them are old timers. They're all the new joiners from ADMK who jumped into in the last 5-10 years. That those are the people given portfolio, which means the old timers like Durai Murugan and Ponmudi and others, all of them are bit rattled by Senthil Balaji's clout and power. I think even including PTR. PTR probably is one of the very
speaking of
big.
PTR, I'm hearing new rumors of his resignation.
Yeah, it is in the car. People are talking about it. I think he's traveled to US couple of times post his movement from finance portfolio. One officially, of course, other probably personally. He may be thinking of moving back to his homeland US, where he might want to continue his profession rather than be in the politics. I think he has little bit of what do you call self pride left in him.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So he's probably tried to do some change within the party, but I still have good amount of regards for that particular character of PTR, and he may spill beans if he goes out of the party. That is where Stalin and Udaynidhi and the son-in-law would be worried. If he goes out of the party and then goes abroad, then he may start spilling beans and then giving a lot of evidences and proofs. I think that's what would be troubling them.
Well, last one I wanted to mention, the guy who engineered the victory for Congress in Karnataka now enjoys a cabinet rank position. What exactly is he going to do? I mean, how to still keep fooling people? Sriram, your thought before we go to Q&A.
See, similar thing happened to
Prashant Kishore
also in Punjab, right? He took a position advisor. So I think it's a payback for getting them elected. Congress, apart from paying him a significant amount of money for the electioning work, it is a payback saying that, I give you respect, I give you some amount of recognition. So I think Sunil, probably is much more closer to Congress. And if he is going to be consulting or providing counseling to Congress for 2024, then probably he will be in a shock similar to what Prashant Kishore had when he was a counsel for them in 2019. Because first family will not listen to any of this outside consulting and counseling. They have their own coterie. But yes, Sunil, received this recognition and reward for bringing the party to power, similar to what Prashant Kishore did in Punjab for Congress. Other than that, I don't know what he is going to do, what sort of advisory he is going to give, because his profession is more of election advisory rather than any other field. Maybe he may do some surveys and other things in the name of the government, but all the best to him.
One thing that has always been a disappointment for me, Sriram, personally, is that I had written on PGurus.com so much information about DK Shivakumar's corruption. Now, the BJP, with its infinite wisdom, doesn't let the ED and CBI do their job. In fact, I believe you have to go back, viewers, PGurus.com, search on DK Shivakumar, and you'll see how many stories have appeared. And these have been over a period of years. If they had acted, this guy would have been in jail long time ago. no Bharat Jodo Yatra would have taken place. At least he would have not been able to fund that. And today, all this thing has happened because of his creative funding. See, what happens is, by not doing something, also you hurt your own chances. I'm saying BJP at least now realize you cannot politicize everything and say, oh, I'm going to talk about this guy only before one election takes place. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. People remember. Karnataka are not, people are literate. They remember. See, the reason I was asking you, Sriram, again and again about the elder brother of Senthil Balaji is, I can't say a lot about this case, but this person was renting a flat from, you guessed it, a Brahmin lady. The husband passed away. The lady has 2 children. They are in US, and she was being harassed. First 2-3 years, they paid the rent. After that, they stopped paying the rent. They didn't sign the lease, 11-month lease. They didn't sign. And suddenly now, no news. This lady has stopped talking to me. I spent way amount of time trying to find her the right legal help. And I'm saying this openly because this is the clout of these people, especially Brahmin families who have now had property. You saw that other Twitter speech about how Stalin boasted that he drove out Brahmins from Gopalapuram. Who the heck are you? Anyway, my thing is, Sriramji, I have a humble request for you. Let us work in detail, especially since we are having Tamil broadcasts also. Let us start arming the community with the information as to which are the constituencies you can make a difference. Then there's a lot that goes into it. Make sure your name is on the voter roll. Make sure your voter card is updated. Make sure you know where your polling booth is. Make sure you turn up there early in the morning. If you have disabled people, find a way to get them wheelchair. You have to do this. This is your only chance. Only chance. There is nothing else. Choose your candidate carefully and vote. And we are going to spend a lot of time on that, Sriram. This may not give us eyeballs, but we want to at least try and tell people, look, today it might be Brahmins, tomorrow it will be Mudaliyas, day after tomorrow it will be Chettiars. These are all the people who are small and influential, and they are the ones these people are going to go after.
Yep, you're right.
So don't think that, we are having some specific, affinity towards one, but this is what is going to happen. So, let's look at that also separately, Sriramji. We'll take it offline and discuss a little bit more. It's a very important revelation you made, sir. It kind of got my, light bulb going. There's no other way. Look at the '𝙤𝙬𝙤 harassment that took place. So these are things. Unless they stand up, show spine, these people will be relentless. That's how it plays out. Let's take some questions now, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Pawan Kishore, we're already at 52 minutes. That's why I'm kind of rushing through, but I wanted to say this thing. Pawan Kishore wants to know, will not free electricity encourage who will unnecessarily consumption? Do we even have the power production to accommodate that increase? Can this lead to power cuts?
Good question, Pawan. Yes, this will increase unnecessary consumption, but I think the caveat here is if you cross 200 units, you will have to pay for all the 200 units. So which means it will also restrict. But Siddaramaiah claims that only average consumption is 60 units, so they will have a little more leeway to spend more on power because they don't have to pay for it. And what that amount they are saving, they are going to use for, we don't know. At least, with respect to power production, we do have capacity. It's if it is effectively managed, power cuts won't be there. But remember, Karnataka, I was touring Karnataka last week and I saw significant amount of power cuts. I'm not going to relate this to current government problem, but there is some fundamental infrastructural issues. But it may lead to power cuts if it is not managed properly.
Next question, please. Subramaniam Viswanathan wants to know how BJP will address the election issue of terrific freebies.
I think, there are only 2 ways they can do it. One is openly they need to ridicule this and then point out that, what happened in Himachal, Tamil Nadu. They need to take it to the voters and then say, don't fall for it, which they fail to do it, unfortunately. That's a reality. They probably need to brazen up, because in one of the social media events, Annamalai himself said, we are good in working hard, but we are not smart in setting the narratives. I think he said that openly to the social media influencers meet sometime happened last week. The second way is to do is you also beat them with the same weapon, but that will be disastrous. And I am not here to support that freebies are bad, but targeted subsidies, targeted freebies are the necessity for the downtrodden to get the benefit of it. But other than that, people have to be educated, which unless BJP does that, they are going to face election losses.
Sriram, aside, a slight quick question. Do you think that the center will get both petrol and liquor into GST anytime soon?
I don't think so, Shreya, because even the center wants to do that. Most of the states would not. How do they compensate for that? That's a huge problem for them. Maybe they are ready now because the 5-year compensation for GST losses have ended by June 2022. So 2023, June last year also it has ended already. The 5-year compensation that they agreed when GST was brought in by June 2022 that ended. Now the government is ready so that any cess they collect, they can compensate the losses incurred by the state. I think they need to bring it under GST. Without which, the problem is the petrol diesel price hike is central government's problem. Unfortunately, nearly 50% of the revenues or the taxes are by the state government. And the remaining 50% or even at less than 40% is by the central government because they give the devolution share to the states. So about 40% by the central government, 60% by the state government. But unfortunately, people are made to believe that the cost is high because of the central government taxes, especially the non-BJP ruled states. That's a reality. That's how people are made to believe. I think if it is brought under GST much earlier, then all these problems would be resolved.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Dinesh Kumar wants to know, who do you think should be the right person to receive 2,000? Mother-in-law or daughter-in-law?
P.K. Shivakumar created this controversy, actually. He talked about it, saying through a Mahila Morcha, should it be given to mother-in-law or daughter-in-law? So, in my opinion, whoever is the head of the family for in the ration card, they should get it. That's the easiest solution. But I think this controversy will, become an issue for them not to give this money. So they'll say, fine, within the family, you resolve and then come up and then we will pay it. I think that's why they created this controversy, in my opinion.
Thank you, Ma Thatcher. Next question. Aditya Tiwari wants to know, Sriji and Sriji, how malicious do you think Raga is? Is he just a useful puppet or the mastermind of all these events and statements made therein?
I think, Raga personally, in my opinion, cannot think all these things. He has a set of advisors, but the guidance is given by the first family to be highly malicious because they feel that they lost their power. See, until 2014, minus a small portion of Vajpayee government, even there, some of their other allies were there in the government. Congress always enjoyed had been the driving seat, either as a driver or the controller of the driver. So that is how they had always been. This is the first 10 years that they are facing that they are not even driver seated, not even in the All India place, but also in most of the other states they have lost their power. So Chhattisgarh and Karnataka are the only two states they are in power today as we speak. So that is their biggest problem. And so they need to find ways to malign the country, and they'll do anything. They'll go to any extent if they can return to this power. I think that is where the challenge is. So they have a significant amount of, masterminds like Sam Pitroda and others who keep pumping a lot of ideas. I think most of the congressmen, honest congressmen, don't believe in this sort of a politics. Unfortunately, people like Jairam Ramesh are still sticking on. Anand Sharma and others, Ghulam Nabi Azad, and everybody walked out of this sort of a politics already. So hopefully, Jairam Ramesh and people like Jairam Ramesh also would walk out of this sometime sooner.
Next question, please. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskaram, sir. Can the losing candidate file a case for cancellation of the result where the cash card scam took place?
Absolutely, Magnet Ranga. Only the losing candidate can file a case. Now, no longer it is an EC's decision. So they need to go to the court. So cash card scam, if the losing candidate takes it to the court, I think there will be a case there will be some amount of investigation, and court can direct a cancellation of the result itself. They have the powers.
Karthik Vishwanathan wants to know how much of the votes would have swung in favor of cash cards. Is there any data?
At least, see, the winning margin in Karnataka had been anywhere between 1,000 to 20,000 in a large seat. So if you take the marginal seats, why JDS is most hurt is about 15 odd seats they lost in the range of 5,000 to 10,000 votes. If we take that as a number, so easily about 5,000 votes could have been swung in favor of Congress by these cash cards. That's a significant number because most of the seats were won between 5,000 to 10,000 votes. So that itself is a huge number in each constituency, Karthik. There's no data. There's no data already available to say that this is the number that swung, because we all actually are looking at the margins victory and traditional last election, how did they win? Previous election, how did they win? I think that's where we look at this data.
Hemant Pant wants to know, this is a question to me, what is the reaction of Indian diaspora and US over the speech of RaGa during his visit? Hemant, the reality is like this. Most Indian Americans are very hardworking. They have daytime jobs. So far, all his meetings have been during the day of the week. Even the Mohabbat Ki Dukaan was, I think, a weekday. And today is the first weekend and he's already in Washington, D.C. So in the Silicon Valley, where people are really busy, very few people showed up for this. In fact, the non-minority people, there were some Dravida Kunjus that they'll always be there. These are guys who are this is a group that has it out. In fact, surprising, in the Mohabbat Ki Dukaan, the Khalistani showed up and disrupted the event towards the end. The event got closed down because of that. So you see what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying. This is a very divisive approach. He's going to bite him in the butt. But unfortunately, whoever is advising him is not doing the right thing. That's why I had warned. Sriram, believe it or not, my video about Rahul Gandhi's bad company has gone seriously viral. It just crossed 200,000 views.
Wow.
And I'm just presenting the data of all the people who are advertising for him, saying that we are going to arrange buses from all these masjids. Please do come. We'll go to New York City, across the Eastern Board, right from Boston all the way down to Washington, D.C., 200 miles each way. I mean, that takes 4 hours one way, Sriram. It's not easy. Somebody has to take care of their food, their bathroom, blah, 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 this, that. And for what? Why does a Bangladeshi American care about what happens in India? So these are all things to try and make it look as if the world diaspora of minorities are with the Indian Muslims, as if they are trying to create this hype that the Indian Muslim is being discriminated when the truth is the opposite, and that they should all come together and vote for Congress, which has the best chance of unseating Modi. This is the underlying thing without being said in so many words.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I wanted to make. And second thing is, you need to look at the timing, Shreya, here. Modi is going to come on an official visit. In the sense, he's a guest of the U.S. government. I think, it happened in 2008 when Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister. After that, this is the official state visit of Modi to the US. Otherwise, he had been coming to US during the UN convention, when UN convention happens.
And UN General Assembly,
General Assembly happens. This is the first ever visit of Modi, going to be welcomed as a state guest. I think that is where Rahul Gandhi's visit timing also matched just before that, so that he wants to show this create some sort of a restlessness that can spark some pressure to the US government. So I think that's what the reason, in my opinion.
Thank you, Jahangir. I guess people want free stuff. However, why not ban freebies, reservations, and give support to all under poverty line? Election Commission must ban freebie culture. Freebie citizens mustn't vote.
Jahangir, it's a very good suggestion. Unfortunately, the problem is our representation of People's Act have limited power to the Election Commission on these decisions. And unless the political will comes in, brings in amendment to this act to ban freebies. I think Supreme Court has taken some cognizance of it, There was some discussions, and it lost steam now. At least I think it will pick up again during the elections. But I agree with you. Free, though some people need freebies, they need free stuff. It has to be a targeted subsidy, and rather than just throw something to the voters for voting. I think the change also has to come from our side. That stop voting for just for the sake of freebies. You may get some benefits, but in a longer run, you are going to pay for it in some way or the other, because government. Look at Tamil Nadu state government, highest borrowing in this, in the last fiscal, highest borrower. We are reaching somewhere around 7 lakh crores. That nearly 30% of GSDP, which means the cost of borrowing is going to increase. Who are going to pay for that? We paid for increased electricity tariff. We paid through house tax and property tax, everything. We are paying through the guideline value increase, so registration charges, everything has gone up. So end of the day, the common public, hard earning middle class and upper middle class, of course the rich, are going to cough up this money for these freebies. So these people at least have to think, when they vote for freebies, they are going to pay from their pocket, indirectly funding these freebies. I think, unless otherwise this sinks into the public, I don't think political class will make any changes or amendments.
Thank you so much, Sriram. And viewers, we are going to be back on Monday night to talk about the ongoing forced displacement of Pakistani Hindu refugees in Rajasthan and who is actually behind it. The answer will surprise you. Dr. Omendra Ratnu of Nimittakam will be on our channel. We'll be discussing this in some detail. Do join us for that. Heartbreaking, that's all I can tell you. The way the government is being twisted around its little finger by a foreign spy organization, it is just unbelievable. We'll get to know all the details. And Sriram, as always, a pleasure having you on our channel, sir. Very objective, very factual. And viewers, please follow Sriram on Twitter handle. His handle is 𝐼𝙧𝙤𝙪𝙥𝙥. Seshadri. Mine is �SriAiyer1 and PGurus1 is the channel handle. And if you have not subscribed to our Hindi channel, please do subscribe to our Hindi channel. We are having programming now 3 times a week, and we'll increase it as time goes along, as we garner more support. Every one of you need to know the truth. Right now, the biggest viewing in Hindi, I'm told, Sriram, you'll be surprised. The biggest viewership is for people who are taking Pakistani YouTube videos, cutting and pasting and comparing the price of onion in Lahore versus Karachi versus Peshawar versus Rawalpindi. And people are getting delighted looking at the kind of prices they are having there. This doesn't serve anyone's purpose, my dear friends. You need to understand how you are being slow cooked by parties like Congress. That's what you need to understand. And this is a very serious battle. We are going to be at the front and center of it. We are going to be trying to awaken you all. Thanks once again, Sriram. And please do share, subscribe, and like our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Namaskar.